Peace and blessings, everyone. It's your favorite truth seeker and truth teller, Wise Champion, back with another one. And today, a topic I want to discuss is a topic that is not often discussed, but it's something that's super important, especially in today's political times and times of turmoil and division in the world, but more specifically in the country of America. In the past, when countries have gone to civil war, um, other world powers or regional powers in that area took that as a sign of weakness, as a sign that since they were fighting each other, that they were ripe for invasion. So time after time, again, when countries were getting busy fighting against each other, outside forces came in and were able to come and conquer those countries. So I say that to say that they are using that tactic against the American people in the same way. And the conquering aspect in this area is going to be the powers that be, the government. And it's even more so than just the government. There's a deeper, darker aspect that's at work, which I'll save for another video. That really is banking on Americans being divided. They're constantly showing us images of past trauma and past isolated situations, or maybe not even isolated situations. Situations happen over and over again, but they're past to constantly keep on digging up old wounds. So we're constantly in that mind state of trauma and victimhood. And I don't want to sound cliche, because ever since whoever that was that came out with the video a few years ago talking about vibrations that really didn't even just scratch the surface of what it really was, but really it's low vibrational. So now when we see each other or when we deal with each other, a lot of the times people automatically go to what is it that we don't have in common. And the things that we don't have in common about, oftentimes people are looking for that as a means to hate each other. Why hate each other? Because you have a difference of opinion, a difference the way you think, the way you draw things up. When did that become a thing? Like, what happened to us being able to identify that we both have a different point of view on this aspect of life or whatever topic we may be discussing, and say, okay, well, that's how you view it, this is how I view it, it's okay, we're still friends. They've mastered the art of being able to bring forth certain trigger words. And when those trigger words are come about, you automatically go into your emotions and the critical thinking aspect shuts off. So you at that point in time are not even able to identify whether the word they're attributing to that situation or person is even pertinent to them. You just automatically associate it with them. Case in point, I spoke a little bit about this before, but the political left and the political right, the fight that goes on between the two. At one point in time, I've been kind of disillusioned with the left for a long time, because I just didn't like where they were going and how they constantly ignored black people problems while they used us to get votes every few years. Then the pandering they did towards us, I actually couldn't stand. So for years, I had been going and just, I had been drifting away from that. But I didn't want to have anything to do with the political right either, because I felt that they were all racist. Like we have been taught, or it's constantly being ingrained that they're racist. And then one day I was at the pool several years ago swimming, and there was a group of us that will always be in the pool, and mostly older people. I was usually the youngest person there, maybe a few other younger people there. who always exercised. We always went to this pool same time every day. And there was this white lady in the pool, and she would always, very nice lady. She would older lady. She would check on us, make sure everybody was okay. We would all sit down and talk for hours. And she eventually got to the point to where she got everybody's phone numbers, and she would call and check on us if we weren't at the pool and make sure we were okay, make sure everything was good. And she was a very nice lady. And then we always had these discussions in the pool, just different topics, maybe current events, whatever, whatever. And we were talking one day, and she mentioned that she was a Trump supporter. And I said to myself, well, like, aren't you a racist? I didn't say it to her, but I'm like, aren't you a racist? Like, Trump supporters hate black people. Like, Republicans hate black people. They're all racist. Like, everything is racist about the race, race, racist. But as I'm talking to this lady, I know what I saw from her, and I didn't see a racist. I didn't get racism from her. She was a very nice lady, and in fact, she went out her way to go to the pool in the black community, which would be qualified as the hood when there were pools that were closer to her, which she could have gotten to in a shorter period of time. She was just a very nice lady. There's another people, two husband and wife. They're older. I'm not going to say too old, but they're a little older, not quite as old as the lady at the pool. They were always very, very nice to me. Always treated very. Every time I saw them, they waved. They would come past my apartment and talk to me. They knew I was disabled because they could see where I was walking and stuff. And I might be in the food store or something like that, and I'd be riding around in my little riding cart. And they would see me. They always came up and talked to me or whatever, whatever. But as I was talking to them, I found out they were Trump supporters. They weren't racist at all. This is just being around them. They never treated me with any contempt or anything of that nature, but they're Trump supporters. They were right wingers. They even offered to cook me meals because they knew I was struggling. They saw me struggling. Now, I didn't accept the meals because I don't eat everybody's cooking, but, they just weren't racist people. They were very nice people. And I say that to say we should judge people independently of who they are. We shouldn't automatically place everyone in one um, category. I got a debate with this cat I know. I had to, really cut off, and we would debate often because he oftentimes would put when he spoke about things, he would always put everyone in a certain category. So we talk about black people, it was all black people. None of them strayed away from that. If we talk about white people, it was all white people. It never strayed away from that. If we talking about women, it was all women. He never never anything independent of that. And it's kind of a crazy way to think because not everybody is stuck etched into such a black and white corner. And I have a feeling that if we were to come together more on the things that we do have in common than the things that we don't have in common, that this place would be a lot better off. And as long as we're sitting back fighting each other over petty, trivial things, now I know the political climate is not a petty, trivial things, but if you really look at it, the communities haven't really changed. The cost of living under both the past two presidents has gone up exorbitantly. Nothing has really changed in that aspect. Everything's really the same. So, but what's happening is that while we're busy focused on each other, we're not focused on them and what they're doing. We're not focused on the things that they're doing to make our lives much more complicated, or how we're being disenfranchised, and who's actually doing it, who's actually the game for it. Because none of these people in power have our best interests at heart. I don't care if they're left. I don't care if they're right. I really don't care. None of them. All of it is about power. And what the people with power want, more power. That's what it's about. They want to get more wealth. They want to get more, whatever it is they want more of. They want more of it. If that means on the back of you, that means on the back of you. And they know that if we're focused on fighting each other, instead of focused on coming together for one common cause to defeat an enemy, then we'll never win. It's not going to happen. And I'm going to go down with this doubly again, especially for black people. You know, we need to stop looking at black people from different communities, different neighborhoods, different states, different projects as being our enemy because they're from someplace different and also from different countries. You know, we need to put aside our petty differences for the sake of building our communities. And that should be in America and worldwide. Because the way that we are now, we're only setting ourselves up to be ruled and conquered. We're not setting ourselves up for freedom in the future. And it's a continuing cycle. And it's something that has happened since the advent of slavery in America. So it behooves us all to start coming together on more common ground and not dividing ourselves on things that we don't have a common ground on. It's okay. We can think differently. We can view things differently and not hate each other. It's okay. Your life isn't going to implode. Your children aren't going to get sick and die if you agree with people. Be respectful. Be respectful to each other's differences. So I understand that's how you deal with things. That's how you view it, but that's not my thing. So I'm not going to deal with that. And when it's a situation that you know is going to lead to a conversation that may be unsavory, then what you do is you say, hey, you know what? I don't think this conversation is going to go anywhere good. So let's just abstain from this. Because the key is we are better together and we are worse off divided. You know. So if you found any value in this video, please like, share, subscribe, and also comment. And like I've been saying, I would like to do some collaboration with other people because, as you can see, I'm actually someone that has something to say, and I'm not focused on foolishness like a lot of these other people out here doing, just doing dumb stuff to entertain you, and that rots your brain, and really does nothing for the next phase or the next chapter that we're moving to in life. So with that, again, my name is Wise Champion. I bid you all peace, and I leave you with love, peace, and happiness.